Welcome to NWA 73. Now, I gotta say a couple of things. One, I have not eaten yet, and this is the sixth time I've done this video. I was busy doing my animation. I forgot what time it was. I have not eaten yet. I completely forgot. So, I'm hungry. Along with that, I'm a bit tired because this was a very long show. This is 5 hours. And I gotta say this. I know for a fact that several of my subscribers are not going to care about this show. They're not going to care that this show is not like AEW, it's not like Impact Wrestling. It's older school wrestling, which many of them don't give a damn about. And there's a lot of people here they don't care about. So when it comes down to it, I know many of you are not going to care. But I'm doing it. I'm going to do the best I can. Okay? Now, I'm going to say also that I might not put any images in this one because it's a long video. And I haven't eaten nothing. And I'm tired. So whatever images I may put in will just be in my face briefly. Now, kickoff show. We had Hex and Lady Frost versus the Terrence Terrell, the Genocide, and Blaze. Now, Blaze was interesting to me. The match was fine, but there was something about Blaze I wasn't sure about. There's something about her, not bad, but there's something that I don't know what to put my finger on. Now, you could say, well, look at her. She's damn gorgeous. Yes, she is. She got a great set of boobs. Yes. But when you see her ring work and the way she interacted with all the other women, she felt like something, like a potential. I'm not sure what it is. Now, of course, she's the one who ate the pin. She lost. And Terrence Terrell was mad at her and Genocide was angry. But there's something about her that's interesting. I just don't know what it is yet. Let's see. Hopefully, they will show her on this Tuesday on Power. Now, the next show. I think the next match. You see, I'm tired. You got PJ Hawks versus Kobe Corrado. I always mispronounce the guy's name. I don't know why I mispronounce his name. My name is Sort of. Maybe. Could be. Anyway. I got a C-O-R in my name. He's got a C-O-R. I can't pronounce it right. I just never could do Spanish right. This is the only match I think most people who like high flying will agree with and they will like the most. Many people who are high flying fans, who like high impact and high flying, will say this is the best match for them and everything else was trash. So if that floats your boat, there you go. For me personally, it wasn't a bad match and Hawks won. It's fine. Now, no DQ match. The Brawl in the Lou. Why couldn't they say the Brawl in St. Lou? I think that would have been better instead of the Brawl in Lou. Guys, sometimes people just don't see a good line. The Brawl in the Lou. The Brawl in St. Lou. Which one would you agree to? I say the latter one. But anyway. Tim Storm, Crimson, and Latimer. No DQ. Now, we had Jax Dean in the kickoff show say that he wants to go single. He told his friend Crimson he loves his brother. Good luck. Well, forget that because he just whooped his ass before he even got into the ring. He nailed him onto a steel ladder and messed up his ribs and he had to be taken into the back. Now, here's the thing that was a bit confusing because we've gone back and forth between Crimson wanting to turn heel and Jax Dean wanted to turn heel. I thought Crimson would have turned heel on Jax Dean and he would have been a good guy. But in this situation, it's Jax Dean. He's the bad guy. The question is how they're going to elaborate on Power this Tuesday. The one who took the biggest spot was Tim Storm. He was fighting with Latimer. Latimer whooped his ass a bit, put him on a guardrail that was set up between two guardrails. This is one of the shots I'm going to use. He basically elbows his ass and bend him into a damn pretzel. Now remember, NWA has no, and I repeat, no pads. This is not AEW, this is not Impact, this is not WWE, this is not MLW, this is not New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is none of them. They have no pads. You take a hit on the floor, it hurts. If anybody's seen the documentary with Rick Foley, he never said he didn't feel pain when he hit the floor with no mats. It hurt. So Tim took that hard hit. And then later he had to go and do commentary, which I give him and I commend him. But that match was rough. near the end, you got Crimson and you got Tim Storm facing one another because Crimson finally came back and he started fighting with Tim Storm. In the end, Tim Storm won. Now, I know many people are going to say, why not Crimson win? Why not Latimer win? Well, here, this is the 73th anniversary show in the Chase, which hasn't been seen since I was 13 years old. In 84, I was 13. The last time anyone from the NWA appeared there, so they had to do it. He is not a total legend, but he is a staple of NWA, so they gave it to him. It's okay. Now, next match. This is where it gets interesting. Mickie James versus Kylie Rae. Now, I know one of my subscribers is going to say, I told you so, but let me explain. Kylie Rae coming to the ring felt fine. And I like Kylie Rae more in this attitude of hers. Now, I did see one of my subscribers say that her ring work sucks worse now since she lost Impact Wrestling. As I said in the comments, I don't agree. The women in that match, Matadora and, well, I think her name was Matadora. Chick Matadora with Kylie and Diamante, they just didn't click. It wasn't that she was that bad of a wrestler. It just did not click. It didn't. So, seeing her with Mickie James, who got cheered like crazy when she came out because of Empower. Now, I may leave a link for Empower for anybody who's not seen it, so you can see my review of that. Hope you like it. But I will say this, it is well deserved. She did a good job as an executive producer. She did. It had issues. Let's not get it twisted. The show had issues, but it was well done. And in many cases, it was actually better than this show in most parts. It was. This show was good, but Empower was better in most parts of it. No lie. Now, they had a good match. It was mostly grapple, but the person you could see, this is the difference, you guys, if you're considering becoming a wrestler. You want to see the difference between a 22-year veteran compared to a 5-year veteran of how the holds were done, how the match was paced, and who led the match, because they're all different. The person who does the holds will know better holds because they have been in the business longer. How they paced the match is very important. How fast they wanted the match to go. And how they made sure to lead the match. Just making sure your opponent doesn't go too fast is one thing. But how they wanted to lead, like they wanted to do a hold here. They wanted to do it in front of a camera. They wanted to make sure they played to the crowd or not play to the crowd. Those all must be taken into account. And you could see Mickie James leading it. In the end, Mickie wins. But then, and I believe I'll put a shot of her in my face, you had Dana Purrazzo come out. And you could tell it's Dana, and no disrespect to Dana. Little, that's Dana Purrazzo. Look, I love me Dana. She talks well. She knows how to lead a match very well for her age. She is a damn good wrestler, but you can't hide what she is. She's a woman that has small boobs and a big butt, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you are trying to hide your face, but you can't hide your silhouette. It's very hard unless you're the type of woman that has a basic average build. She can't do it. She can't. What you see is what you get. Unless it was Melina, which I knew it wasn't. Melina was not going to be there because of ACL. This had to be Dana Purrazzo. Now, what I said earlier in this review about one of my subscribers saying, I told you so, that she is going to be wrestling full-time. I said this. You got Mickie James, currently working as executive producer for NWA. She's not going to be working constantly. Now you see this, and I'm sure many of you are going to say, oh, now she's going to be in a feud. Yes, she will be. But it does not mean it's going to be permanent for her to be working all the time. She's an executive producer. See, I'm tired, and I haven't eaten yet. You see, she's an executive producer. She's going to wrestle when she wants to, on her terms, on her own schedule. So she may not wrestle a lot. Now, it's obvious she's going to be working with Impact and maybe at Victory Road. I kind of wish this wasn't done now because it would be nice if Dana Purrazzo had a match with Mickie James at, guess what? Bound for Glory. That's supposed to be in October. But they're probably going to do it at Victory Road. And I think it's either the 5th of October. No, the 5th of September or the 26th of September. I don't know when it's coming. I think the 26th, if I'm right. or the 23rd. 23rd and 26th. But you guys can tell me below when Victory Road comes out because I can't remember not in September. I'm about to say October. Anyway, let's move on. 6-man tag. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated because you had Tyrus, Clearwater, and now the newly named Ion, who was the mystery man, compared to the End and the Pope, who has no title. He's not the TV champion anymore. It is Tyrus who's the current champion. But this is where it gets interesting in two ways. One, they started stating here in this show that Austin Idol went around, found a whole bunch of old titles that used to be held by great champions, melted those damn things down, and created a new title that is more prestigious than any, and the NWA is not recognizing it. That's the first thing. Then Ion himself, where the match itself was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I'm not a big person when it comes to 6-man tags unless there's some type of title involved. Like a single person having a title, or there's a triple title, like a triple champion title, or a trios champion, sorry. For me, this doesn't really give a lot because they could have done a tag title match or a tag team match. And you could still do what they were doing with Tyrus and Ion along with the Pope and somebody else. I just don't know. I just feel like it should be a little bit more than that. Now, at the end of the match, Tyrus is about to get the pin, but Ion tags in and takes the pin from Tyrus, which pisses his ass off. And then when it was over, both of them were staring a hole for each other. The question is going to be now, how are they going to be able to present this on Power this Tuesday or the next Tuesday? Because we don't know how much they're going to be able to show on this Power because a lot happened in this show. Now, let's go on. The national title. I actually got the national title mixed up with the TV title on the last video I tried to do earlier because I've done this 6 times, guys. 6. Either I was tired, and I'm frustrated, and I'm hungry. This is, I got to say this. If you're trying to work 2 channels on YouTube, making content for both, just know it's not easy. And worse yet, as an insomniac, I am one. It gets harder at the age of 50 as an insomniac who does these shows and then who's also trying to do stuff for another channel, which, yeah, it doesn't have much traction. I have barely anyone looking at my channel. And you know what? I may just leave a connection to that below as well. So you can see what I do. If you like animation, you like music, you'll see it there. I know no one's going to watch it, but still, I'll let you see it anyway. But the point is, it ain't easy. Now, the national championship with a returning James Storm versus a Chris Adonis. Looking like He-Man. You see him in my face. Why? Oh my gosh. Oh, you know who he reminds me of who did that before him? Eli Drake, baby. Who is now LA Knight. Who I don't know is about to happen to him. He may go to the main roster and about to get screwed over, or he'll stay in NXT. Or get fired. Who knows? But the person who first did it was Eli Drake. Now you see Chris Adonis do it. Now, was this a good match? It wasn't too bad. It wasn't. I can say it wasn't that bad to see. Chris Adonis really doesn't have great chemistry with everybody he goes in the ring with. He just doesn't. He acts a bit clunky when he's not with someone who he can work with properly, and they have to cover for it. Now, Tim Storm's a very good wrestler who knows how to be able to deal with what he needs to deal with. And he did a very good job trying to compensate for the clunkiness that Chris Adonis had because he wasn't doing that great. But in the end, Chris Adonis retained, which I didn't expect him not to. He did cheat to win. He did. And that was not fair to a James Storm. I want to see James Storm and Tim Storm work together as either the Storm Brothers or the Eye of the Storms or whatever else you want to call Tim and James Storm. That's what I want. Next, we had Ric Flair come out. Now, this was a little bit of a problem for me because, as I explained in all the other recordings I did, every time when I wanted to watch, I could not properly see a Ric Flair due to the fact that Ric Flair the stream kept dropping for me. Now, as I said in the previous videos, I believe it might have been on my end, and I don't think it was from Fight TV. If it was, that really did not look good. But in my case, I think it might have just been on my end where the stream kept dropping. My internet was fine, but I just couldn't get a stable stream. Something was wrong. But I did see most of it, and what I saw was interesting. He came out, and he said, Billy called him and said, you can come in. And he said, I want to take a little time. And he says, take as much time as you want. You're Ric Flair. And he said things I didn't expect him to say, because he put over everybody in the WWE. He thanked Vince. He thanked Triple H. He thanked Randy Orton. He thanked Stone Cold Steve Austin. He thanked Hager. He made sure he thanked people that he was with, even though he's not with the WWE anymore. Now, for Ric Flair, I guess he's not the type that holds a grudge. He thanked them because it proved, this is what he said generally, he proved that he was a draw because he originally made himself in the NWA. Not WCW, not WWE. NWA made him. He also thanked his wife. He thanked his kids, but he said he was sorry he couldn't be a great dad. He said sorry, but he loved them. Okay. I know not many people are going to be happy about that, but knowing Rick the way he is, particularly that Rick almost died, heart problems, almost died. He's back. He's popular, and he's doing, what is it? Car Shield? The guy is busier than he is, and he's in his 70s, man. He is still around doing what he's doing, styling, profiling, and making money. And he even says what he was doing when he had huge amounts of money, he was spending that mess. I'm not saying that it was bad. Actually, it was not bad at all. Now, I'm sure everybody is not going to say, why the hell did he say the WWE? That is Ric Flair. He thanks the people that made him who he is. And he made sure the NWA was the focus, next to himself, of course. But the NWA is focused because he would not be who he is without the NWA. That's the truth. He wouldn't have made it without the NWA title and going around to every promotion in the 80s and 70s. Now, we had the 12-man Battle Royal. I take that back. The 13-man Battle Royal, because we had one new person come in, and you see him in my face, Joe Dias. Joe Dias, I believe. No, Judas. I think that's his name. And he had Father Mitchell with him. Well, this is interesting. Father Mitchell doesn't just work with anybody. So Judas coming to the ring, and I'll put that in my face. He fought everybody, and the last person that was in the ring with him was JTG. That was a surprise that JTG was allowed to be the last person there, because understand, if this was a standard battle royal like the WWE, the first two people who come in are the most important, as well as the last one coming in. In this situation, the last one to stay with the one who wins means something. So they may have something planned for JTG. They wanted people to see JTG. They wanted to see what he was capable of. They wanted to show that he had good ability. And he did. He lasted quite a long time, and he was still showing activity until he got knocked out, and Judas won and was in the ring with a Father Mitchell. Let's move on. Now, one thing I got to say that pissed me off beyond anything, Busted Open Radio. Some people there had, like, I'll show one image of it, and I think I got an image of one of those Busted Open Radio cardboard cutouts. That one of them was of Mark Henry, the other one was with his partner. I got pissed off after a while because there was one guy who was right in front of the camera who kept doing it so much. It pissed my ass off. Look, guys, I have no problem showing signs and stuff, but it just pissed me off. That was just me, guys, tell me below. I hated it. I had to see if the mic was on because I've been using the battery for a while. I'm sorry. But you get my point. Now, we had the NWA Women's title match of Camille versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea won the Invitational Cup, so she earned the right to appear on 73. This is where it gets interesting. This match could have easily headlined last night. It was a damn good match. Taking nothing away, but it was a damn good match that could have headlined in Power. And it was one of those matches that helped this show. Taking nothing away from how everyone else had been working, the 12-man Battle Royal was pretty good. I can't say a lot for the National Championship. It wasn't that great. The 6-man tag was more about creating a story. And the no DQ match was sick. Violent. But this is one of those matches that I honestly say that was really good for the show. It really helped the show. It was really good for the show, and I liked it. Chelsea Green. I kind of wish she won, but I know she wasn't supposed to win because this is not the time for Camille to lose. Honestly. Camille is not supposed to lose right now. I don't think she's going to lose for a while. It is not the right time for her. So seeing her win, I understand it. I do agree with it, but I still kind of wish that Chelsea had won. Not just because Impact Wrestling would get the title back and forth, which would be good, which could help the women to a certain extent because you can bring NWA women into Impact and Impact women into NWA, but it just felt like it might have been good. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. Now, we got, what am I forgetting here? I feel like I'm forgetting something. The tag team, the La Rebellion versus the champions of Kratos and Stevens. And Conan was there playing his music of the Latin American exchange. I knew there was something up. They wouldn't bring in Conan. Yes, it is his promotion, AAA. But I didn't expect them to bring in Conan. I knew something was up. The match was actually quite good. Kratos looked like a monster. You may not like Kratos. I actually like Kratos because Kratos is not the biggest guy there, but he's one of the toughest ass men there. He proved it in New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence, and he proved it here as well. He made that match. Me personally. Stevens didn't really do a lot in the match. It was more about Kratos for me personally. But in the end, Kratos didn't job. It was Stevens. And it is over. They're now broken up. Well, not broken up. They didn't start fighting one another. The question is going to be, is Stevens and Kratos going to try and get the title back? I don't know. We'll find out soon. But I was surprised once, just like Ric Flair talked, you get a Conan calling, well, him saying it's the first time NWA tag team champions are a Puerto Rican and a Mexican at the same time. Now, for him, it means a lot. Particularly that he said when I first started out, there wasn't that many black people, not many Spanish people, not many Taino people. Now, I'm not saying he is a lion because there wasn't. Back in the early 80s and late 70s, there wasn't a lot of you. In the 60s, they were just beginning. The 70s going to the 80s, it really began to build up a bit. And by the 90s, that's when it became more prolific going into the 2000s. So he's not lying. He wanted to make it very, very clear that this was important to Spanish wrestlers and anyone else that wasn't white. And I gotta say this. And people who are LGBTQ plus, I believe they call it now. People that as well. I gotta say this. And I want to make this very clear. I'm not against anyone saying that a minority group has never been given their due. And something special happens and they get it. In this situation, I get it and it's right. But I'm not going to lie. They throw that around a lot of people. No matter if it's in wrestling or politics. And I'm hoping that people understand it should be done when it's at the right time. Not just because someone does something. I'm just saying. Now finally, a well-crafted story. Nick Aldis versus a Trevor Murdoch. And I know people who saw this were not happy about it. I'm definitely sure they hated it. They despised it. Why is Trevor Murdoch, a fat old man, getting this title? Nick Aldis having a job. He had 1,041 days, which is 2 years, 8 months, and if I'm right, 5 weeks. He held the damn title. Nearly 3 years he held that title, which that's a long ass time. And I respect that. Damn, that's a long time. But this is where things come. It should only be dropped when there's a good story behind it, or if the person's going to leave. Now, I'm not saying Nick Aldis is leaving. I don't think that feud is over for a while. He's going to do everything he can to get that damn title back. He's defined himself by that title. Well, the title is defined by him. But the way it goes, was this a good story? Yes. In the very beginning, Trevor was getting his ass whooped. As he came out, you got Nick Aldis running out, attacking him, and they go up the ramp. At one point, Nick just body slams him on the wooden floor. Remember, there's no mats around. This is just whatever is the surface. And I'll put a picture of that in my face. I do believe I got a shot of that. It was bad. You got them both getting back in the ring after a big brawl. There was no ring until they got in the ring. And then, I can say this. When the match started, it was slow-paced. You're still talking about Trevor Murdoch, who's not a fast-paced wrestler. He just isn't. He's not a fast-paced wrestler. But I can tell you this. He did do a good job in this match. And at one point, you get, I forgot his name, the King's first name. The ref King, he gets laid out. He can't ref anymore. He's done. And they had to call another ref in. And it made it build more and more. And you could see the fans just getting so invested, so into it, so much they cared. Till the end, his son, his wife, his younger son, his best friend who used to be his tag partner, all there watching him get his butt kicked. And they're telling him, don't give up. By the time he does his bulldog off the top turn rope, and then finally gets that pin, everyone was behind him. A few times there were false finishes. And I know a lot of people don't like that. But in this situation, it was done well enough that it made a very compelling story. And you now have Trevor Murdoch as the winner. Ric Flair comes out. He congratulates him and said that you are now the champ. You must lead by example. You are the one that means everything here. Make it mean something. And his family, he hugs his family. His son hugs him like crazy. His younger son is jumping up and down. I think that was his younger son. Jumping up and down, just happy. In the end, he is the new champion of the NWA. And we will see him this Tuesday, or next Tuesday. It counts on if they're going to wait a little bit and try to build up Nick Aldis. This is what I think. Nick shouldn't be stopped. I would love to see that Trevor Murdoch not show up on the show. Nick Aldis shows on the show. He's angry beyond stink. And for the next week or two, there is no Trevor Murdoch. He shows up on I think a week. He's off for 1 week. He comes back the next week. And he lets it stew by not coming in that first week. And you see Nick Aldis just blow his stack and just destroy him to make it clear that he wants his damn title back. That's what I would hope. Was this a good show? A lot of people are not going to like it because it's old school wrestling. The only match they may like was one of the first matches on the kickoff show. But honestly, it was a good show. It did have a couple of things that were not perfect, particularly those people in the front row who had the faces from the guys from Busted Open Radio. One of the guys, I'm not against Mark Henry, but come on. I still think it was a good show. I think you'll like it if you turn off your brain and not worry about high spots. You may like it, but it's just me. And I hope you enjoyed this NWA 73 pay-per-view. Please leave me a comment below. And you should be seeing my Gump Report this Monday for a Caleb Connery. No, not Caleb Connery. What was I talking about? I already did the Caleb Connery one. It's another one talking about, I think, the state of wrestling. There you go. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.